Hi guys, I'm Cassie from Faodail Creation and I upload videos every single Wednesday. Now it's either on how to use your sewing machine or simple sewing tips and tricks. This week's video is all about binding. Now I'm going to show you how to make the binding, how to attach the binding and also how to finish off the binding. So just to let you know, you can purchase binding in stores that's already done for you. However, I think they're a little bit too lightweight, and personally, I prefer a thicker binding because it's less forgiving. I'm going to compare these two together. So this was the backing fabric on one of my quilts that I did. And it's a much thinner fabric and it just doesn't give off a very nice overall look. However, when I use this fabric, which is much thicker, it gives off a nice, clean, finished look. So I'm going to create this video in 3 different parts for you. This is so when you get to the next step of the binding, it's going to be easier for you to find the video and work from that particular stage, rather than me doing the whole video and you having to fast forward through it. So I want you to see the principle of how this is done. So this isn't the how-to on how to make anything in particular. This is just to show you how to put the binding on. So I'd been getting increasingly frustrated with how to create binding on things. And just recently, one of my friends who is an avid quilter came around and showed me her technique. And I want to pass that down to you because I truly believe that everybody should know the basics and shouldn't have to pay in order to know that information. The next thing I'm going to talk to you about is going to be basically personal preference. I cut my binding out at 2.5 inches. Some people like a thinner binding, so maybe 2.25, but you can't go too thin because you need to have an overlap when you're making your binding. So this right here is a piece of fabric from the store, and you're best to do it off the yardage and not off any of your scraps, just because you don't want to have to keep on joining them seams together all the time. So I'm going to cut this down to 2.5 inches. If you want something thinner than that, you can do it at 2.25, like I said. So I'm going to go ahead and cut a second one of these because I think 2 should be enough for my project. But if you're making like a full-size quilt, you're probably going to need a fair few. So here's our 2 pieces right here, and don't forget just to cut off them selvage bits at the end, just so you're starting off with the actual fabric. This is how we're going to join these 2 pieces together. So you're going to have one going across just like this, right side up, and then you're going to get your second one and it's going to go right side down. So the 2 pieces of fabric are facing each other, right sides together. So we're now going to take these 2 pieces over to the sewing machine, but before we do, it depends on how confident you are. You can take it straight over to your machine and eyeball it, or if you want, just make a line that goes from centre to centre like so. You want to be hitting it right in the corner and right in the corner. Now the reason I say this is because look what's going to happen now. If I just put my ruler here and you fold this back, it's going to be connected to the other side of the fabric properly. If you're not confident with these just being free, just flapping about, just pin your binding in place while you just run this through your sewing machine. So all I'm going to do here is just follow this line all the way down. If you're a little bit off, don't lose sleep over it, it's fine. So when we open our seam up, it gives this lovely finished look, but we're not going to stop there. We're going to cut this bit off and we're going to press this in place to give it an even more better look. So we're at the ironing board and I'm just going to clip a little bit of this off. I'm probably just going to leave like 1/4 inch or so, totally up to you, but I just want to tidy this up. It just helps reduce that bulk. Then I'm just going to open it up And I'm going to press it down right along the center like so. And I'm just going to do it on the front here too. And it just looks just neater like this. So to create this binding now, we're going to fold this over in half. So this is like the right side here. And we're going to go back to our iron and we're going to press it all the way along. So I'm back at my ironing board here. And we're just going to press this down like so, and we're going to go all the way down. Now guys, what's your experience of making binding? I would love to know in the comments, because like I said, I had been struggling a long time in order to get this binding 100% correct, because I have a store and I don't want to put products in my store if I just can't do them properly. So I'm so excited that I can now do this. So let me know your biggest pet peeve of creating binding and I will try and answer the questions. So that was part one of making the binding, and here it all is in its glory. In part two, I'm going to show you how to put this binding onto your project. I've linked part two in this video, so it should be coming up shortly, but don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss seeing me next week. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.